Welcome to the first of a four-part series on Google Analytics, tracking traffic on your website. Each part of this series will help you move through the process of installing Google Analytics, collecting data about your site, understanding all the different things you can learn about your site, then how to segment your traffic and get even more meaning out of your data. And the last part of the series will help you actually use Google Analytics to measure specific goals that you want to achieve with your site so you can see what's working and what's not and how you can make improvements to it. In this first part of the series, I'll introduce you to analytics and cover the steps you need to get started. Now, Google Analytics is a free, powerful tool that lets you see how many visitors came to your site, how they found your site, how they navigate through it, and eventually how they become your patients. Now, without Google Analytics, your website is pretty much just a bunch of web pages that are sitting out there in cyberspace. They, sometimes generate some emails or forms for some reason or other, and sometimes don't. So you see, without Google Analytics, really, you're missing the key information you need to understand with what's actually happening on your website. With analytics data, your website can go from a virtual presence to an almost physical entity with people, potentially lots of them, coming and going and interacting with your site at all times. So first thing you have to do is to set up Google Analytics tracking code on your website. Now this is the code that's going to serve to capture all the activity on your site, and it's going to feed it back into Google Analytics so that it can translate the data into meaningful reports. So if you have a webmaster, by the way, there's a pretty good chance that they have either already set all this up for you or they would be happy to do so. That is, installing the analytics tracking code on a website. It tends to be a basic service that most companies provide. So before you proceed, the first thing you should do is to ask your webmaster if that's something that they've taken care of. However, here's how you do it anyhow. You start by visiting www.google.com/analytics. This is the page that you see. Now, if you have a Google account, sign in. And if not, you should really get yourself a Google account. Now, the first time you log in, you'll be asked to create an account for your actual website. That's the website you want to actually track your statistics for. So you'll enter your website address and you're pretty much almost ready to go. If you do a quick search on Google itself for installing analytics tracking code, as you can see here, the search, the exact help page you need is going to pop up number one, funny enough. And so you've got the website that you can click on to get to Google's help. Now this web page lists the basic steps that you need to go through to get your tracking code all set up. In short, it's really not hard. Once you're logged into analytics and you set up an account and the profile, as I mentioned earlier, for your website, then you're going to click on the edit link on the right hand side. You can see it highlighted here by the arrow. You click on the edit link, and then you're going to have a check status option. It's going to tell you that the tracking code has not been installed, and you're going to click on check status. Now there you'll be given a screen with the code that you actually need to paste on your website. Now remember, the code is different for every site, so make sure you're going to be pasting this code into your site. Copy it, go, and paste it into your site. Now, that's not so easy when I say paste it into your site. When I say paste it into your site, you actually have to put this code on every single page that you have in your website. If not, it's not going to track every single page in your site. So the chances are that whoever built your website for you probably made this step easy for you. I say probably because there's a whole bunch of different ways you can build websites. But if it was easy, you might have something like a content management system that you can use to edit your website. Now that's where you can actually easily edit all pages on your site. You just log into a web page and you edit the site, and there you go. Now in there you're likely to have a special area where you can paste your analytics code in. Now you have to paste the analytics code into what's called the head tag. Now once you've pasted your code in and you've saved your changes on your website, you should see the code on the site itself. The way to do that is to go to your website, look at the page, pick the home page, for example, right-click, and as you can see here, with your mouse, you'll have the choice to view your page source. If everything was done right, you should see your code just below the head tag in the page source, as you can see here. Now, you just wait a few hours and check back into your Google Analytics account, and you'll see that Google Analytics has started tracking data. And that data will result in visits to your website, and we'll be able to learn a whole lot more about what's going on your site. At this point, if you see that the code is on the site and everything is being tracked correctly, typically I would urge you to wait, be it a few weeks, be it a month, until a significant amount of data has been measured. And then we'll move on to step 2, which is actually how to understand your data and draw meaning out of it. So stay tuned for the next part in the series on understanding your Google Analytics data.